Natural Habitat Expeditions is pleased to be bringing you this webinar today, Paddling the Mediterranean's Dalmatian Coast. And we're here today with the Chief Exploratory Officer of Natural Habitat Expeditions, Olaf Malver. And before I turn it over to Olaf, I'd like to tell you just a little bit more about him. His enthusiasm is unparalleled for exploring the planet's most remote and dramatic destinations, and his passion for history of the world's greatest explorers is what drives him, and he's deeply curious about opening remaining frontiers to himself and his fellow travelers, which is why Olaf founded Explorer's Corner, which is now Natural Habitat Expeditions. He speaks 6 languages, has a PhD in chemistry and a master's in international law and diplomacy from Tufts University. He's also a former science educator at University of California, San Francisco. Olaf has been an adventure travel guide for more than 25 years, leading kayaking trips on all 7 seas and hiking and trekking trips worldwide. He is an avid outdoorsman, having climbed mountains, traveled by dog sled, and hiked in more than 80 countries over 35 years. And for 15 years, Olaf has been a fellow of the exclusive Explorers Club. And now, as the CEO, or Chief Exploratory Officer at Natural Habitat Expeditions, Olaf ensures that Natural Habitat Expeditions maintains the same spirit of true adventure that has driven all the great explorers for hundreds of years. So we're really in good hands with Olaf today, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this unique expedition. Welcome, Olaf.
Well, thank you very much for that nice introduction, Lee. I almost blush when you talk about me, but I am happy to be here and to address this audience of more than 100 people that are listening from all over the world to this lecture on the Natural Habitat Expeditions trip to the Balkans. Yes, I am a Chief Exploratory Officer. That means that I don't sit too much at a desk, but I get to travel all over and cook up new things. And in fact, this trip to Croatia was a trip that started almost 15 years ago. I was invited to an ecotourism seminar in Zagreb after the Balkan Wars, and they asked me to talk about adventure travel, because they were mostly used to offer more the sunny, lie on the beach type of vacations for tourists on the coast of Croatia. And I told the Minister of Tourism that there was really some amazing opportunities for people like some of those who are listening right now to go and have some really wonderful times on the Adriatic Sea and in the mountains of the interior, and you know, be active and have some fun at the same time. And I would say that we when I say we, it was some of the local tour operators and we had just started this whole thing, and now it has taken off. And during the years, I spent most of my time exploring and keeping innovating this kayaking trip on the Adriatic coast of Croatia. And it was more a kayak-focused trip, because Explorer's Corner was more about this kayaking. And now that we have beautifully integrated in Natural Habitat Adventures, we have changed the trip because people wanted to see more than just what you can see from the seat of a kayak. They wanted to go into those mountains behind, deep inside the Balkans. So now, from a pure Croatia kayaking trip, we now have a more rounded and well-balanced Croatia and Montenegro trip, so we get a more fuller view of what's in that area called the Balkans. as you can see here, the Minister of Tourism in the old days slogan was the Mediterranean as it once was. And I will certainly agree with him. As a Dane, we went to the Mediterranean many years ago with my family, and I loved it. And we went to Spain, Sardinia, Corsica, Greece, Crete, southern Turkey. And I came back in my older years and started sea kayaking many of those old places I visited when I was a little boy in blue swim trunks and my fishing spear. And I have to tell you that that when I came back to Croatia first time after my childhood, I certainly thought that a lot of it was still there. It was not overrun by a lot of tourists, which Europe really is. There's a lot of places on the Mediterranean which is completely filled up with people, but there's still something novel, and there's something pristine about the Adriatic Ocean. You can see the Adriatic here between Italy and the Balkans. The blue outline is basically all the Balkan states. So there are many Balkan countries to choose from, and I think that now we have the right mix. You can see Croatia, which is kind of a funny shaped country with a huge coastal outline there, and then just east of there, a little independent state of Montenegro, where we now have hiking deep inside the mountains in northern Montenegro, attached to this sea kayaking trip. Croatia today is actually just a new member of the European Union, and it is a place with a variety of beautiful areas to visit and be active in. And you can see on the coast there you have Split, you have Sadar, Šibenik, and in fact south of Split on the coast there's a famous town called Dubrovnik, and that's basically where our trip starts. Let me go more specific. I'm sorry this slide here is not so clear, but it's taken from the website and just pasted into this slide here. That shows you the specific outline of the trip. Dubrovnik, we start in Dubrovnik. Dubrovnik is a must for anybody who goes to the Balkan area, Adriatic and Croatia. It is one of the world's most beautiful coastal cities with old Venetian walls, and fortunately it has been restored to its old splendor, and I will show you some slides about that. Then the general outline is to go along the coast out to the islands of Golocep, Luput, and Sipan, and we will basically have a follow boat with us that we stay on while we kayak for 5 days, and then we'll move up along the inside of this archipelago along the coast and zigzag up between islands and beautiful bays, cross over to Korčula, which I'll show you pictures from as well, and go down into the national park of Mijet, and kind of figure eight back into to Montenegro inland, drive up to Dumitor National Park, come back to the coast at Kotor, which is another beautiful coastal city, and then loop back to Dubrovnik. So that's what we do, and it's a 10-day itinerary. 5 of the nights we stay on the boat, and the other nights we stay in very nice hotels and mountain chalets in Montenegro. So there you have it. This is the trip in a nutshell. So we fly into to Dubrovnik, and and many airlines go to Dubrovnik. You can either from the U.S. Croatia Airlines is a sister company of United Airlines. So if you fly to Frankfurt or to Munich, then you can continue straight from there to Dubrovnik. There are also some flights from other European cities, and then they go to Zagreb, and then from Zagreb you go down to Dubrovnik. So it's a popular airport, and you come in that first day, and then you're jet lagged. Many of you are jet lagged, so we drive you to your nice coastal hotel just south of the city, and you have time to explore the city a little bit on your own. It's amazing when you look at the city like this, all these beautiful red roofs. This city was actually pretty much destroyed in the Balkan Wars, and many of these roofs were non-existent. But what the first thing that the tourist agency did, was just to build the city up again by putting roofs on the buildings, even if people didn't live in there, just to make the city beautiful as it is, as you can see here. And it certainly is a true gem. It is surrounded by a full intact wall, and the classic thing, and we will do that the next day, is to do an early morning hike following that whole long wall along the sides, coming out around the ocean, and then after that go in and look at the magnificent cathedrals and historical places that has made this city one of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites in the world. It's very difficult to become a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and I can tell you that just on this trip alone, we will visit 3 of those, Dubrovnik being the first. So lots of good photography, lots of good exploration, fantastic food, and we are not bound to be a cruise ship passenger. We try to really go on an early morning hike before the cruise ship comes in and the streets get filled up with a lot of people. So you really get a feeling for this lovely city on the Adriatic Coast. Our hotel is Villa Glavic, and you can see at the upper left corner, you can see the balcony, the view from our hotel just south of the city. You can see the city in the background, the old Venetian harbor there. And it's a small boutique hotel, 5-star, own swimming pool on the ocean right there, and just a lovely place. We believe in really pampering our guests at the same time as we like to be active and go out there and explore. So it's this wonderful activity-based trip wrapped in luxury, just like our other trips for instance, in Portugal and in Galapagos. That's the early morning shot before the tourists have arrived, and the cafes will open in an hour, and you can see how intact the city is now, and it's just lovely to walk around in. So the next day we drive up to a little harbor just 45 minutes north of Dubrovnik. It's called Zaton Bay, and there our mothership catamaran is located, and it's quite nice little boat. I'll tell you more about it. And the first thing we do when we get to Zaton Bay is to get people into the kayaks and make them feel comfortable in the boats, and teach you safety and group dynamics on the ocean. and just enjoy how blue this Adriatic Ocean truly is. I can tell you a little bit about the kayaks that we use. These are German kayaks, plastic rotomodal kayaks, and they are very seaworthy. They're not super tippy. They have hatches, and we give you the best equipment available. And we have a fleet of both single and double kayaks. I should say that we actually have 2 single kayaks and the rest doubles. So when you call us and sign up, just let us know what you prefer. And I also find that often people they want to swap back and forth, and the guide, of course, see who's most comfortable where, and it all works out in the end. And here is our catamaran, and I'm a big fan of catamaran. This actually is in Zaton Bay, and you can see the kayaks moored next to the catamaran in this quiet bay. And the reason that I like catamarans, just like in our very popular trip in the Galapagos, is that they're very stable, first of all. They have 2 hulls. They're not a monohull. They have 2 hulls. So if you get some winds, and sometimes we do get winds here in the Adriatic, then it's much more stable. So seasickness is not a problem for anybody that goes on this trip. Also, you feel that you have more space because of the big deck area compared to the hull volume. You have bigger space. You have a big trampoline in front. And we also use this trampoline to store our kayaks. So it's a perfect boat to use as a kayak-based exploration vehicle. It's 46 feet long. It's called a Hercules sailing catamaran. I will just show you a few pictures from it. As you can see, it has a nice back deck where we can eat and launch from. And the nice thing about the boat is also that it's comfortable for just a small group. And that's one of the things about this trip that sets it apart from many other similar products that are offered kayaking and sailing in the Adriatic, is that we only take maximum 8 people on this trip. The deck plan shows clearly how you can see that there are 4 bedrooms on board. Each of these bedrooms have its own bathroom, so you don't have to share that with anybody else. The flip side is, of course, that all of these berths are double beds. So we do take 1 single, which then will occupy one of the rooms on board. So we cannot have 4 twin accommodations on board. So either you know your partner very well, or you have one of the single bed opportunities on board. But again, we have done this in order to have a little intimate group, and that also fits well with our philosophy of kayaking, which is safer and which is much easier to manage when you have small groups paddling on the ocean. You can see some of the inside pictures shows how luxurious the boat is and how comfortable the dining area and the bedrooms are. So off we go, and again, a little group like this is wonderful to paddle with. And when we paddle along here, the philosophy is really not to paddle for the sake of covering miles, but to explore. That's why it was called Explorer's Corner, and that's why it's called Natural Habitat Expeditions. So if we find a wonderful place to go snorkeling or to explore a beach to eat lunch at, we stop because it's nice, not because we have to cover certain miles. And that's one thing about this trip that I know people will ask about. is how difficult is the paddling. I'll go over that later. But the trip is designed so that when we paddle, except in one place, we will be accompanied by the catamaran. So if you, for some reason, feel that you have had enough paddling, you just tell our sea kayaking guide who's with you, and she will rate you back to the boat. They'll come out with a tender, and you will go on board and just hang out there and sail with the boat, while the rest who are more enthusiastic and want to paddle more can do that. So there's a lot of options on this trip. We like that because we know that people come from all levels of shape and forms of being in shape and so forth. So we have built in that flexibility. So that's what it's all about. We paddle out from Zaton Bay. We cross over to the Elafiti Islands, which is a charming small archipelago of islands just west of Dubrovnik. The three islands are called Kolochep, Loput, and Sipan. And Kolochep is the first one we hit, and it's the smallest one. There's not even a road there, but there are lots of caves to explore and the beaches to land on. And then we move on. After lunch, we move up to a little bigger island, Loput, which is one of my favorite because it has a great waterfront with bars and a good place to have a cup of coffee. And that was actually Kolochep. You saw the first slide where you saw these kayakers without life jackets, which I don't like, paddling towards Kolochep pier. Finally, we end up at the island. We cross over a little straight to Sipan, which is the largest of the islands in the Elafiti archipelago. And we will that evening we will have some great food at a local restaurant on the harbor in Sipan. Actually, that restaurant is one of the top 3 restaurants in the coastal Croatia, also called Dalmatia. We stay on the boat, and here's one of those landings I'm talking about. So it's a fantastic mixture of landing in nature and also landing in culture, and that's what I think Dalmatia is all about. This constant going in and out between culture and nature. Next day we paddle more in Sipan, and then we cross back over to the mainland and go along the famous Peltichak Peninsula. Stop at a city which has the oldest salt works in the Mediterranean and a huge defensive wall. Actually, it's the second largest in the world after the Great Wall of China. And this Peltichak Peninsula is very famous for its oysters. They grow a lot of oysters there. So that's what we do. We go ashore and we have white wine, and locally grown white wine, and for those who like shellfish or fish, this is the place to be. Regarding the food on the trip, we take any kind of food preferences into consideration. If you are vegetarian, or if you don't like shellfish, or if you like a lot of chicken, trust me, we have a lot of variety, and Croatia is famous for its all-around fantastic, tasteful food. The fruits come straight from to the market on our boats, and except the bananas, of course. But they are both fruits and vegetables, super fresh and well tasting. Here's a few pictures that I hope will get your mouth watering a little bit. Desserts, seafood, and one of my Ecolo chip and also in Millet is actually some of their octopus dishes. So if you have a knack for octopus, that's what will get you. On the way up the coast on the Belgic Peninsula, we also get a chance to visit the Gurkic family winery. There are some great coastal wines here. In fact, Gurkic wines, he later immigrated to Napa Valley and started that famous winery now, who's very famous for their white wines and Zinfandels. So we pop in there and have a good drop right there. Then we continue up to, here's a little bit of a rescue situation, as I call it. One of my earlier trips where we used bigger kayaks. This is actually a folding kayak, an expedition kayak that I brought from Greenland. It's obviously overkill with having a big expedition kayak, but just to tell you, they're great if you want to, spread out your legs and have a busy time in the Adriatic Sea. Then we go up to Korčula, which is the mini Dubrovnik, another Venetian town. It is rumored that Marco Polo was born there, and it has a wall all around it, and defensive towers and charming red-roofed houses, lots of museums where you can walk around, and we actually are anchoring in the harbor next to Korčula, so we'll be able to really enjoy the Mediterranean nightlife as well. And one of my highlights is the next day when we switch over to the Millet Island National Park. That is the inserted picture you see on the upper left side. And I'll see if I can give you a little idea of this by taking my arrow here. Here we actually we paddle from outside the coast there, and then we go in here. There's a gap here, a channel, okay, and then we get into to that little inland saltwater lake where the Melita Island is. You can see Melita Island. On that island is a monastery, and then we can continue further into Malo Jezero. So it's lake after lake, really going in and exploring, paddling under old bridges, and also visiting the monastery. It's quite wonderful in there, and of course the way to explore these lakes is by kayak. There is no motor traffic, and I just love Millet Island National Park and exploring these saltwater lakes. They also have a great cuisine here on this island, and they grow honey, they have goat cheese. So we will in that evening we will anchor up at Slano village and have some gourmet dinner in town after a good day of paddling and exploring. So that's a great finale on our kayaking sailing part to visit Millet Island, and we then cross over to the mainland and drive from the coast into Montenegro via Croatia and go up into the mainlands. Just a few more pictures from Millet. Here you see some of the caves that we're exploring. Oh, just a little cove we decided to stay at and have fun. Anyhow, so you can see I put this map up just to give you an idea of. You can see in the upper right-hand corner a map of the that part of the world. So Montenegro is this little state which was a part of the bigger Yugoslavia, together with Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, Serbia, Macedonia. And it's one of the smallest ones. And I would say it's one of the least developed tourist countries in this part of the world. And that's really one of the things I like about it. It's not at all overrun by tourists, and we actually have got great customer feedback for this trip, for this country here. Okay, so now we are on the slide that shows Montenegro. And where we end up is, after we drive from Croatia, we go inland immediately, and we have found this other wonderful UNESCO World Heritage Site called Dubrovnik National Park. It's a pretty new park, and it's right up here, Dubrovnik National Park. And it really gives you a feeling for the mountain wilderness of the Balkans. And we decided to take 2 nights of staying just outside the park, and then go into the park and explore for 2 days in there. Walk along the lakes, we have picnic lunches, and we go close to some of the canyons in this lovely nature area. We stay in the Polar Star Hotel at Dubrovnik, just outside Dubrovnik, which is again a small boutique hotel with a sauna and very decent. It's not a 5-star hotel, but it's the best we have around here, and our clients just love it. And then we start exploring and hiking our hearts out, and it was a big surprise how wonderful this place and how unvisited and rugged the place really is. I'll just show you a few pictures of the area, which was a big surprise to me. This is the Tara Canyon. Tara River is one of the deepest canyons in Europe, and the plateau itself is the upper plateau is about 5,000 feet. So it's high up, and then you have the Tara River, the canyon there up in the upper left-hand side, goes through that deep canyon and goes into the Mediterranean. So it's quite some vistas. The hiking we do here is, day hiking without big packs or anything, and we can hike as much as we want. But the day hikes are no longer than a total of 3 to 4 hours, and of course depending on what the group would like to do. We believe flexibility is key. We are there to explore, not to cover miles with our boots on. So a great, different experience of the Balkans. Here's some of the lakes and some of the hiking that we do. After that, we turn back to the Mediterranean, to the Adriatic. But of course, now it's the Montenegro Adriatic, and there's a little gem of a place that very few people in the traditional tourist circuit know, and that is Kotor, another and the last UNESCO World Heritage Site, located on the Mediterranean in Montenegro, in the Bay of Kotor. It's an old city stemming from 200 years before Christ, and I'll show you a few slides from that place where we actually have an opportunity to kayak. We do a half-day kayaking and explore the inlets and the narrow fjord system. This area is actually called the southernmost fjordlands of Europe. So it's quite lovely, and for me it was important to get a little bit of kayaking in before we go back to Dubrovnik. And in Dubrovnik we come back and stay at our luxury hotel again, and celebrate our 9 days of paddling and hiking and exploring the Balkans. So it's a popular trip. It's really popular because of many things, many reasons. It has that, as I say, a small group, 8 guests maximum, private catamaran, and I would say that we are probably also the pioneers in these kind of trips in this part of the world and in many other places in the world. So, from a sea kayaking perspective, you're talking to the experts, about, how to really deal with sea kayaking in a safe and also a fun way. And as I keep saying, is we really wanted this to be what I call a surf and turf experience, both the mountains and the oceans, just to get a fuller picture, both historical and experience-wise, of the Balkans. So we go to 2 countries and we visited many habitats. The food and wine is fabulous. One of the signs for that is that there are several Italian tourists in this part of the world, not only because Italians are close, Italy is just on the other side, but Italians would never go to a place that didn't have good food and wine. And then humbly I would say that we do have some of the best guides in the world. That's really what we are proud at Natural Habitat Adventures and Expeditions as well. So the details is down to the nitty-gritty. It's a 10-day trip, and we go in May and June, and we go in August and September, simply late August, early September, and May and June, simply because that's when the weather is best. We don't think that July is very good. It's too hot, and often you get some of the northern winds coming in. It's very pleasant temperatures in May, June, and August, September. And the other thing to take into consideration is that in July it is the big European grand summer vacation, and it tends to get pretty busy in some of the cities in the Mediterranean. We want to avoid that too. 3 UNESCO heritage sites, 2 Balkan countries, lots of safe and fun activities wrapped in comfort. And finally, I want to we rate this trip as moderate to difficult, but the most important word here is the word flexible. Really, it's for me, it's the kayaking itself should be called on a beginner level. We paddle, our hearts out. I would say maximum 3 to 4 hours, but again, and that can be hard for some people. But again, because you can go on board the boat and opt out, it can be a difficult trip, but you can opt out, and thus it becomes a beginner level trip. You don't need to be a super kayaker. We will teach everything. Our guides are trained to teach people how to paddle efficiently and having fun at the same time. But you need to have a good fitness and no shoulder and back problems, because it's just not fun to have a pain in your back and paddle for a couple of hours. Don't need to have paddle experience, and again, the catamaran will be nearby. And regards to the hiking, to me that's also a beginner, moderate level of hiking, because it's not more than 3 to 4 hours of walking without anything on your back, and along trails that are very marked and easy to walk on. So with that said, I thank you for your attention, and I hope that this part of if you haven't visited this part of the world, it's still a gem on many travelers' list. And I personally think that the way to do this is the way we do it. Thanks a lot, and you can look at the trip itself. If you go onto nathab.com website and then go under the expeditions and look for the trip there, and you have everything that you want to know about the trip. And if that's not enough, you know, our people in the office in Colorado know about the trip and are more than happy to guide you and help you to see if this would be something that you, your friends, your spouses, and your family would love to do. Thanks a lot.
Olaf, thank you. That was fascinating, and there are many, many people that are interested in learning more, and we have some very good questions here. So let me just start right in. There's a question about what type of gear is provided. Do you provide gear like water shoes or jackets?
We provide all the kayaking equipment, and I didn't really hear water. You have to speak a little bit up because it's hard for me to hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, water shoes. There was just questions about water shoes or what other sort of gear
water
might
shoes.
be provided.
No, you have to bring your own water shoes. That's just a personal piece of equipment, and we recommend you know, water shoes like Tivas that you can Velcro on. Flip-flops, unfortunately, doesn't really work because they fall off inside the kayak. So there are all kinds of water shoes you can get, and they range in price from $40 to $80. But you know, you should definitely have shoes on that fits your feet. So we don't provide that.
Okay, thank you. And then what about marine animals? What sort of animals and wildlife would guests usually encounter on this trip?
I would say that most of we have the normal, you know, seagulls and marine birds that are in the Mediterranean, and then up in the mountains you'll see all kinds of birds. I'm not a birder myself, but I do know that several of our clients from Natural Habitat Adventurers are interested in birding, and our guides know a lot about that. So there's a richness in bird life both in the mountains and on the coast. And then the wildlife is mostly underneath the surface, so we have some great snorkeling, and we find good snorkeling spots where you will see lots of myriads of fish and underneath the surface of the water. And I have been on several trips in this area and seen parts of dolphins playing in the water in the Adriatic.
All right, that sounds wonderful. What about snorkeling? There is a question about whether there is snorkeling offered.
Yes, there's very good snorkeling there, and I would suggest to bring your own snorkel mask because that will have the best fit for you. So the snorkeling is lovely. The coast is made out of limestone. And, well, the whole area is a limestone area. That's why there are these deep canyons. But there's a lot of caves. So there's a lot of wonderful, you know, cave structures and intricate coastlines to explore snorkeling-wise. And we have a tender on board the boat that is able to take us out to good snorkeling places when we don't paddle.
All right, and I guess the water temperature is comfortable. Is that true?
Yeah, very, very nice. It's in the beginning of the 70s, mid 70s, in the seasons that we offer our trips in. Yes.
All right. And regarding the kayaking, on average, how many hours a day are spent paddling?
We spend between 2 and 3.5 hours a day paddling. Again, it's flexible, and some days we paddle more than others, of course. But I will say that if we suddenly get some winds coming in, then those hours become longer, and then you can choose either to go on board the boat, or you can choose to paddle more to get to that destination we originally had planned on. I mean, we are on the ocean, so it's a give a little leeway on the times according to how the wind is blowing.
All right. And there's a question about elevation gain. Is there a significant elevation gain on the hikes?
No, there's not. Our hikes, I would say, with the hiking, the plateau up in the national park in Montenegro is in about 5,000 feet, and but we don't go much up and down. It's maybe 500-600 feet the most.
Oh, well, that's not bad. Okay, well, I have this one last question for you. This is just about the duration of the trip. Someone was asking about how long this trip is.
Yes, it's a 10-day trip from the day you land in Dubrovnik to the day you fly home. Of course, we will be more than happy to give you to make reservations for extra hotel rooms in Dubrovnik, either in the beginning or in the end of the trip. And I always find it very nice to come in a little bit early if you come all the way from the US because of jet lag. So many of our people, they actually added a night in Dubrovnik, which is very easy to do, or they add a night in Zagreb, which is also an interesting city. So you can fly into Zagreb and spend a night there in a hotel that you can easily find on Expedia.com or any other website, and then the next day or two you fly down to Dubrovnik. You hop down there. It's an hour flight. We also had people who have rented a car in Venice and then driven down the coast along the Slovenian and the Dalmatian coast and all the way to Dubrovnik, and you can do that as a one-way trip, and they have all kinds of rental car companies in Europe that can make that an easy journey for you. In that way, you see even more of the area. There's also, and we can discuss that when you call us in the office. There's also a wonderful ferry system in the Adriatic. And there's actually a ferry that goes from Venice to a city a couple of hours north of Dubrovnik called Split. And that's an overnight ferry, and it's a really wonderful way to travel. And then you can, from Split to Dubrovnik, there's another hydrofoil boat that takes you down to Dubrovnik. These ferry lines are called Jadrolina.hr, and they are a lot of fun if you have time and you want to see a little bit a wider area than we are visiting ourselves.
Well, that sounds terrific. Well, thank you so much, Olaf, for taking the time and staying up to be able to share all of this information with us. So I'm going to turn it back over to you now for anything else you might want to share before we go.
Yeah, well, this is a special occasion for me because I just have fallen in love with this place a lot. And every time I go there, my heart always beats a little bit slower when I sit on that waterfront and sip a glass of white wine and together with a small group of people that are there because they want to be there and they want to have a lot of fun and they want to experience a wonderful place. So I hope you will join us, and I'll be more than happy to ask any questions. If you email me at Olaf, O-L-A-F, @nathaf.com, then I'm available too, and I just love to talk Croatia and kayaking. So thank you very much again.
Wonderful. And we will send the replay out to everyone in a few days, and we appreciate all of you for taking the time to be with us. And just a reminder that we will be back together again in 2 weeks. We have another topic that we will be sharing with all of you, and that's about gorillas in the wild, and we'll send an email out about that. So that's all for today. Thanks again, and with that, we'll say good day and conclude our webinar. Goodbye now.